Thank you, Madam Chair. Great deal has been said about what the county is doing and not doing. So I think my first point is it's important for us to realize the county is pretty much in this all alone. I mean, we can talk about the state, we can talk about the state helping, but they're failing us every week up there now. And I speak with a lot of knowledge about how that happens because I was there for 14 years. And, you know, you can bring something that will help, and then you need to get, you know, votes on a committee, so you take a little piece off. And by the time you're done trying to build affordable housing by taking some zoning away around transportation hubs, boom, out the window. And even the people of California who voted against Prop 10 were totally fooled by $100 million worth of advertising that lied to them about what Prop 10 would have done, which was simply to allow rent control if a city wanted to adopt it. Because now you can't even apply it on anything built after 1995, and every year that's more and more and more. So there are a lot of factors that I think we've talked about. Peter and Phil and Monique talked about a lot of them. Section 8, for instance, about every 3 months we do a meeting of landlords in my district begging them to take Section 8. And the reason we do it is because there's a lot of mythologies about Section 8, but there's a lot of realities as well. In order to wait for your Section 8 recipient to be qualified, you might have to hold your apartment open for 2 months, waiting for them to be, okay. So the county has said, we'll pay for those apartments to be open. We'll pay the rent. So we have programs where the county has stepped up here and there. It is such a such a jigsaw puzzle of things. Next week, we're going to have a report from the Alternatives to Incarceration Working Group. And we have also found, talk about disrupting your life. When you go to jail and you can't pay bail, or you need services, you're going to lose your housing. You are going to be homeless. And guess what? You're not the only one, because you might have been the breadwinner for that family. In many, many instances, you are, or you were, and you might have been shoplifting because you're not the breadwinner anymore because you lost your job. So the county being in it all by itself, I want to say when I was in Sacramento, I had very little respect for counties. I didn't know what they did. It looked like they were screwing up every week. They weren't, how is it that homeless numbers are going up? What are you guys doing? So now I'm here. And I look
what are you doing?
At what we're doing. I've changed my mind, I'm just going to say. And the reason is we are the only level of government that's actually called upon to do anything. This is not a critique for the state or the nation that makes policy and gives lots of money. At least they used to. But the testimony about what the federal government is not doing for us now, I think people have to knit all of these facts together. One of the things that I have thought about since I've been elected here is the county used to be mostly all about health. Poor people, health services for poor people, substance abuse, mental health, physical health, health. And then homelessness hit. I mean, we had our own Hoovervilles. And we said, oh, housing. Housing must be related to health somehow. And to their credit, all three of our health departments have said, yeah, we're going to pretend that housing is an RX for health. As a matter of fact, some doctors were even writing prescriptions. Housing, that's what you need, for your health. And that is housing for health, essentially. So that's two things that are related. But the third leg of the stool is really work. It is work. People can't get work when they've been in jail. People can't get work when they need mental health treatment. People can't get work when they are suffering from substance abuse disorder. So that is the next focus, I think, for us, is how can we help make sure that people have some access to jobs? Now, I grew up in a household that worshiped FDR. And all I knew about FDR was he made like 1 million jobs. And they were, government jobs. And so people got jobs. So I'm sorry, that's sort of my mindset. And I realize that the county can't hire everybody in sight, but I wish we could. Because you cannot keep your housing unless you have a job. You cannot keep a job unless you have your health. And you cannot be healthy without housing. And so those things are so interrelated. So the things that we're doing that don't seem to be about homelessness are deeply related. If we're going to do, well, even in prevention, the motion that we adopted to explore eviction defense, because we discovered people don't get evicted if they have a lawyer. So somebody ought to be paying for all those lawyers. Well, there's no money actually anywhere to pay for those lawyers, but we bring a motion to explore how can we do it? Because there was no money to pay for homelessness services either. And we explored it and figured out at least how to get some. The same thing in the motion that asked our departments to help us analyze and identify who is at risk of homelessness, because that's the place that we have to really make the difference. We can't wave a magic Harry Potter wand and build housing. As many units as we build, it is not going to be enough. I've compared us in the past to the guy that walks behind the horses in the parade. That's exactly what the county is. We are not making this mess, but everyone has said to us, you have to clean it up. So we have to do everything we can to clean it up. But the best thing is keep people from becoming homeless. We've all said it. We have ideas about how to do it. We're allocating resources to try to do it. A lot of people in this county touch our departments before they're homeless. They touch our departments before they're looking like they're at risk of being homeless. So we want our departments to do, like we used to do with domestic violence. We added that to the medical screening, just to question whether people were in danger in their homes. Nobody was asking this question. But are we asking the good women who came up here from the Women's Center to talk about domestic violence, why haven't you ended domestic violence? And the reason is because there's always new families suffering domestic violence. There's always new young people committing domestic violence. It is the same with homelessness. So I am very grateful to Peter and to Phil and Monique and to our department heads and to you, Feja, and congratulations on becoming #2 in the county. I gave a big cheer. I think that was such a good choice. But it's like, be careful what you ask for, because now you're even more responsible for all of this. You say we need more outreach workers. I agree with you, Madam Chair, but you know what the outreach workers say to me? Outreach to send them where? I don't have a place. I don't have a house. I can get them services. And that's not a bad thing. But they will still be on the street because we do not have enough housing. So I think all we can do is all we can do. I'm a realist. I love that we house 27,000 families permanently. We have to help keep them in their housing. That's the other thing. And I believe the services that we provide, a permanent, supportive housing, is only permanent because it's supportive. You need help to stay. You need subsidies. I'm really proud of this county. There will never be enough done that anyone in the audience will think we've done enough. And I was an advocate far longer than I've been an elected person. I get it. And it is important to keep up the drumbeat. But what we do, keeping people out of jail, what we do with eviction defense, what we do with all kinds of prevention, what we do with rent subsidies, what we do with everything we can. And frankly, I wish we could find an incentive for our cities to adopt some kind of rent stabilization. Most of them don't have it. And I think there may be a way to do that as well. So I'm just wanting to thank you for your work. It's never going to look perfect to everybody, but frankly, from my seat here, I see a lot of it. And I'm really grateful because it's a nightmare. And I know that you're not sleeping any better than the rest of us about it. And I don't feel like we're suffering as many of you are here. I'm not kidding myself. It's just that I'm pleased with what we've done so far. And I think if we stay on the same track, that we will house more and more and more people, and any one of whom will say, I know there's still a lot of people out there, but thank you, I have a key. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.